Hello and welcome to Weekly MTG, a very, very special episode, somewhere around, we'll call it 5 months in the making. We are here today with the one and only Mark Rosewater, who is going to take us through, what else? Unfinity. We are here today to give you, I'm going to call it the greatest show in the multiverse, is how I'm going to frame this show. Because you know what? That leads us right into our first preview card. The greatest show in the multiverse. It costs 7 mana. It's a saga. It's an artifact enchantment. And as an additional cost to cast this spell, exile 5 instant and or sorcery cards you own with the same artist and different names from outside the game. And then the chapters all do the same thing. Choose one of the exiled cards at random. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. We have so many cards to go through, Mark, but why don't you start by telling us a little bit about the greatest show in the multiverse and kind of the theme behind Unfinity?
Okay, so when we started this set, one of the things I like to do with unsets is I like to say, what's the thing we do in normal Magic that we can apply to an unset? And so this set was all about doing a top-down set. We wanted to pick a flavor or something really cool and then design the entire set and the structure and all the cards around that theme. And so I went to Dawn Mirren, who was our art director, and I said, Dawn, okay, we want to do something really cool and fun, but something that, normal Magic might not do. And she came back with the idea of doing retro science fiction, and I came back with the idea of doing like a circus / carnival / amusement park. And we said, why not both? Let's just do both of those things. So we have Myra the Magnificent's Intergalactic Astrotorium of Fun. It is literally a space carnival that travels the galaxy, and we are capturing that all in this set.
Yeah, and we are going to show off a ton of stuff that hit all of those themes. We're also going to go through the 2 new mechanics, one of which you may already be familiar with. So we're going to start with stickers, Mark, which you introduced to the world a couple months ago. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about stickers, how they work, what's the deal with stickers?
Okay, so one of the things about a carnival is you get prizes, you get things. And so what we decided was we wanted to make use of sticker technology. Like one of the things about unsets is we're trying to go in new directions and try new things and explore spaces we haven't explored before. And stickers is something we've been talking about at R&D for a long, long time. There's a lot of cool things you can do with stickers. And so we got really excited with what if we could introduce stickers to Magic and do it here in Unfinity. So here's how stickers work. So in your booster pack, there is a sticker sheet. There is one of your cards is a sheet of stickers. And on that sheet, there are 3 name stickers, 3 art stickers, 2 ability stickers, and 2 power toughness stickers.
And I think we can throw some of those up on the screen too.
Yeah, so
perfect.
Some examples. Here's some ones you haven't seen yet. So the idea is there's name stickers, there's art stickers, there's ability stickers, there's power toughness stickers. You'll notice that the ability stickers and the power toughness stickers have a little ticket icon next to them. And what that means is in order to sticker them, you have to pay a ticket cost. So most of the things that sticker cards also give you tickets. So there's tickets work like energy. You get the counter, you the player have them, and then you can spend them. You're not forced to spend them, but if you want to do one of the ability or power toughness stickers, you can spend tickets to do that. So here's how stickers work. There'll be cards in the set that tell you to sticker your cards. The default for stickers is you can only sticker non-land permanents you own. So whether or not it says that on the card, that is the rule for all stickers. You can sticker non-land permanents that you own, not control. You can't sticker somebody else's card. It has to be something you own. And then the idea is that when it says to sticker, sometimes it says sticker anything. Sometimes it says to sticker a name sticker or an art sticker. Assuming it says to sticker anything, you can choose what you want to sticker. Name stickers and art stickers are free. Ability stickers and power toughness stickers will cost some amount of tickets. So can we I know we have a card talking about how to get them. Let me show this card and help explain
Robo
it.
Pinata,
Robo Pinata. In the set, by the way, all the clowns in the set are robots. There are a few robots that aren't clowns. But we wanted to make clowns fun and not too creepy, and so we decided to turn them into robots. So all of the clown robots have a function. This clown robot is a pinata. So the way it works, you'll notice on this card, when this one dies, some cards when they enter the battlefield, some might be a trigger, but you will usually get tickets. This particular one lets you choose between getting 2 tickets or stickering a card. So you can choose whether you want the tickets or the cards on this card. Some things will give you both tickets and let you sticker. This one makes you choose, but it gives you 2 tickets if you choose that. And then you can put any sticker on a non-land permanent you own. Once again, if you don't have tickets, you can't do the ability stickers or the power toughness. But if you do, you can choose to do that. Power toughness stickers are replacement, meaning if I put a power toughness sticker, let's say Robo Pinata got a sticker on itself. Instead of a 2/1, it could turn into a 4/4 or a 5/5. So it replaces it. Whatever the last power toughness sticker, that's what it is. So you can keep putting power toughness stickers on, but the latest one supersedes the ones before it. The other stickers, the art stickers, the name stickers, and the ability stickers are additive, meaning they don't replace anything. If I put something on the art, it's now in the art and can count for things that care about art, but it doesn't cover anything up. Those things under it are still there. Likewise, if I put an ability on the card, it doesn't lose any abilities. It still has those abilities. And if I add a name, it still has that name. It just added a word to the name. The way names work real quickly is in Acorn Magic, you can put the name wherever you want. So let's say you have a sticker that says Dark. You can make it Dark Robo Pinata or Robo Pinata Dark. For any Eternal gameplay, it just has the sticker. All that the rules in Eternal care about is, are you the same name or not? Once you add a sticker, you're not the same name. So that means if you have a card that names a card, it doesn't refer to this card anymore. Or legendary creatures. If you put a sticker on a legendary creature, you can now play a second one because it's not the same name, and the legend rule no longer applies to it.
All right.
Also,
cool. Yeah, I was going to say, I just want to make sure that we clarify something. So when a card says put a sticker on a permanent, you still have to pay the ticket cost for that sticker.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you ever want to use an ability sticker or a power toughness sticker, they always have a ticket cost. The lowest is 2. Some are higher. So, for example, you'll see on the first card there's an ability that costs 5. There's a power toughness on the second one that costs 5. So it can cost more stickers. The lowest cost is always 2. And you must pay the ticket cost if you're doing an ability or power toughness. You must. You can't avoid it. There's nothing that lets you sticker without making you pay the cost. Or there are some cards that give you tickets and then make you pay the cost, but it gives you tickets ahead of time.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think we saw Robo Pinata, which gives tickets, can help you put stickers on.
And/or gives you
and then here's Wizards of the Blank. I feel called out here. It costs 2 and 2 blue. It is a creature, human, wizard, performer. Again, feeling more called out here. 3/1. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on it, then look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of unique vowels on that sticker. Put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Mark, where does this fit into the sticker schema in the set?
Okay, so this is part of a common cycle. It's one in each color. They have a blank in their name. The blank isn't anything until you put something there. Obviously, Wizards of the Blank is having a little fun with Wizards of the Coast. So the way it works is whatever sticker you use. So remember, the way stickers work is you do not draft stickers. When you open up your booster pack in the draft, you keep the stickers you open. So you will have 3 sticker sheets. In Constructed, you bring 10 unique sticker sheets and randomly pick 3 at the beginning of each game. So during the game, in any game you play, you have 3 sticker sheets. So that means you'll have 9 names because you'll have 3 names per sticker sheet. So when I play Wizards of the Coast, I can pick any name that I have, and it cares about how many unique vowels are in it. So it doesn't matter how many A's. A only counts once. But it's looking like, do you have an A, do you have an E, do you have an I, do you have an O, do you have a U, and do you have a Y? There is one name sticker that has all 6. I think there's one more that has 5 of the 6, and there's a couple 4s. A lot of 3s and some 2s. But the idea essentially is, this particular card cares about name stickers about vowels. Other things will care about different qualities of name stickers. So different names will care in different ways. Also, when you sticker this on, usually you'll sticker it in the blank because it's funnier to be in the blank. But you're not obligated. In Acorn Magic, you could sticker it wherever you want. It could be before Wizards or in between Wizards and of. You can sticker it wherever you want. Now, I will point out, notice at the bottom, there's no Acorn on this card. This is an Eternal card. So if you play this in an Eternal format, basically, you'll have some choice of stickers, and then that dictates how big the effect is on the card. Are you looking for 1 card? Are you looking for up to 6 cards? It just depends on what stickers you have. And like I said, because in Constructed, you have to randomly pick 3, there's only 1 that has 6 on it. So even if that's 1 of your 10, there's only a 30% chance that you get it. So, but anyway, yeah. So stickers are something that you can play in Eternal formats. Not all the stickers are playable in Eternal formats, but a lot of them are, like this one.
And let's talk about the stickers again for a second. Just physically, when you put this on a card, does it come off? Is my card stickered forever? How does that work?
Yeah, so we purposely pick glue so it'll come off. It should not harm the card. We've tested it. So the idea is you sticker it on, and then if for some reason it comes off, so if stickers ever leave a public zone, meaning if they go to your hand or the library, you take off the sticker and put it back on your sticker sheet. And the stickers are made to be, like, you can sticker them many times. So they will come off your card without harming it, and you can sticker it on another card. So if they ever leave, they go to your hand and go to the library, you put them back on your sheet, and then if another thing lets you sticker, you could sticker them again.
Okay. And if you have 3 sticker sheets, let's say you play a game that goes forever, tons of permanents, tons of stickers, and you run out of stickers. If something tells you to sticker, are you just not able to sticker anymore?
Yes. I mean, you only have, like I said, there are 10 stickers per sheet, 3 names, 3 art, 2 abilities, and 2 power toughness, and you have 3 sticker sheets. So you have 30 stickers, but, okay, let's say you have an amazing game with lots of stickers. If you run out, you run out. More realistically, you might run out of a kind of sticker rather than run out of all the stickers. But if, for example, I've used all my name stickers, well, then I can't sticker a name sticker anymore. Until something leaves, until something goes to the hand or library, in which case the sticker comes back.
Do you have a favorite sticker?
One of my favorite stories is I was playing Chris Mooney, who was like my right-hand person on this, my strong second. And they managed to beat me in a game. I got poisoned to death in a game of Magic. There is no card with poison printed on it. There's just 1 infect sticker on one of the sticker sheets. And they put infect on their creature, and then they made their creature like a 6/6 or something, and hit me a couple times, and then I was dead. So, one of the fun things about stickers is there's a lot. The other important thing is there's 48 sticker sheets, and other than power and toughness, there's no repeating. None of the names repeat, none of the art repeats, none of the abilities repeat, and even the power toughness. As much as variety as we could have, we'd have. There's just not 96 power toughness combinations. But anyway, one of the really cool things about stickers is the games are very, very different. And that one of the things we like in unsets is we like high variance. We like games to play out very differently. And that's one of the things that stickers do, is when you play from game to game or match to match or just different play session, they're just very different. Stickers can allow crazy things to happen, like, I got poisoned out in a game, but there's no card that actually has poison on it, So that's the kind of wacky things that can happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to talk about the second new mechanic in the set, which also has some wacky things going on for it. So the next mechanic, and we've hinted at it, but we've not come out. This is completely new. So it's called Attraction.
We showed the frame at San Diego Comic-Con. We showed
the frame, yes, but we haven't showed the actual card of the mechanic. So the next mechanic are called Attractions. So let's throw the first one up there. I'm going to read this. It's not going to make a ton of sense until Mark explains it. But this attraction is an artifact, and it's called Centrifuge, and it says, visit. Each player draws a card from the library of the player to their right. You create 3 treasure tokens, and then there's some numbers highlighted on the right. Mark, what the heck is going on here?
Okay, well, you'll notice for starters there's no mana cost, and there's these weird numbers on the side. So attractions are a second deck. So for people that remember Contraptions from Unstable, we tapped into this technology of a second deck. And I like to consider the second deck kind of like double-face cards, which is, it's a really cool tool, and there's a lot of different kinds of things you can do with it. So Attractions is using a second deck in a different way than how Contraptions used it. So Contraptions, you would build something over time, and you knew exactly what would happen when. So the way Attractions work is, you'll have cards that open an attraction. When that happens, you draw off your attraction deck. It's a separate deck. It has a different back. And then you put them into play on the battlefield. They are artifacts. And then at the beginning of your first main phase, the same time that sagas happen, you will roll a 6-sided die. And then if you roll a number that's lit up, for example, this Centrifuge has a 3 lit up and a 6 lit up, then you get to visit that attraction. So basically what happens is you have these attractions, and the attractions represent rides in the park, games in the park, stands in the park where you can get things, and each turn you'll find out what you get to visit that turn. You never visit anything on a 1. 1 is a miss. You always visit things on a 6. So if you roll a 6, you'll visit everything you have open. You roll a 1, you'll visit nothing. And if you roll 2 through 5, it'll vary turn for turn what exactly you get to do. And here's the other cool thing. Every card, every attraction has multiple versions of it, depending on various factors. For example, there's 2 centrifuges. So even if you have a centrifuge, it might work on different numbers depending on which one you open. And you'll also notice that each one is unique, that we give unique flavor text to each different variation. And one last thing I guess I'll say here, centrifuge, you'll notice at the bottom, it has an acorn on it. Most attractions, the majority of them are actually eternal, but there are some acorn attractions. The reason this is an acorn attraction is you're drawing off your opponent's library and putting their cards in your hand. That is an acorn thing. We do not do that in normal Eternal Magic.
Makes sense. Let's move on to the next attraction. So this one's called Dart Throw. The visit ability is throw a card you own from outside the game onto the playing area from a distance of 3 feet, about 1 meter. I love the conversion there. If that card touches Dart Throw, claim the prize. And the prize is create 2 2/2 pink teddy bear creature tokens, sacrifice Dart Throw, then open an attraction. And this one, so the last one we saw had 2 versions. This one has 4.
Yeah, basically a lot of the reasons has to do with where it is on the sheet. Different rarities were allowed different things. The last card was rare, so we had less options on the rare sheet, but this card's common, so there was more room. You'll see as we get through them, different ones have different numbers based on a couple different factors. Oh, the other thing that matters is how many things let you open on them. The last one, it required 2 different numbers. This is 4, so it's a lot easier to get to go to the Dart Throw. Now, Dart Throw is what we call a game. And what that means is you're playing a game, and if you win, you get a prize. And if you win the prize, not only do you get the prize, but you get to replace it with a new attraction. I do want to point out, when we say a card from outside the game, we do mean a magic card from outside the game. You can't go get other cards. So there's a bunch of cards in the set that care about going to get a card outside the game. We mean a magic card from outside the game.
Not a Queen of Hearts.
Not a Queen of Hearts.
All right. Okay, so next up we have Fortune Teller. I will point out, so we should talk about this too while we're here. We'll do it here because I enjoy this flavor text specifically. Mark, we had some interesting characters work on the flavor text in this set. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. We went to Loading Ready Run and had a couple members of Loading Ready Run help us, and Sean Baby, we went out and found some comedy writers to write. I mean, this set is a comedic set. Unsets are funny, and so Ari ran the whole process, and I worked on it, and we got a whole bunch of just comedy writers. My background actually is comedy writing, and so it was a lot of fun to sit, in the room virtually, but to work with other comedians to write this stuff. And the flavor text and the names are very funny. I'm very proud of all the names we came up with. I got a lot of puns in, so I was very happy about that. And you can see here, Fortune Teller has 6 different versions, and there are 6 different pieces of flavor text from 6 different versions. They're all fortunes. One of the little shticks is the robots always talk in all caps. We saw that in Robo Pinata. So the Fortune Teller. Oh, I can point out something else here. You see Jace. The Fortune Teller is Jace. The park uses this magic motif, and so you'll see a lot of magic jokes in the park, much like the Jace Fortune Teller.
All right. Let's look at the last attraction we have to show off today, which is the Haunted House. How can you go to a theme park without a haunted house? This one's visit returns target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step. This one's rare, and it has 2 versions.
So the other thing I want to point out is when you're drafting, in your booster pack, there are 2 slots for attractions. So every booster pack will have 2 attractions. And the way it works is you're most likely to get a common in the slot, but you can get an uncommon and you can get a rare. There's just 3 rarities for the attractions themselves. Oh, by the way, you'll notice the Fortune Teller was Eternal Legal, and the Dart Throw is not, because it involved dexterity. The cool thing about the attractions is because you open 2 per pack, and every slot can have a rare one in it. You can get a lot of different variety. There's, I think, off the top of my head, I think there's 45 different attractions, if I remember correctly. So there's common attractions, uncommon attractions, rare attractions. There are rides that do things. There's games that do things. There are stands where you can sort of purchase things and stuff. So there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do.
Yeah, and I'll point this out. I'm sure some of the folks have already noticed this, but the different versions all have the same collector number. So we did this gimmick kind of with previous unsets and art versions and abilities in the past, and this has the same gimmick where essentially the number is the only thing that's different, correct?
Yes, the only thing that's different between them is the flavor text is different.
The flavor
and
text,
what number that you visited is different. But the cards do the exact same mechanical thing. Oh, sorry, that is mostly true. There are 3 games in which there are different variants of the games. So we haven't introduced one of those today, but there are some games that will give you things to use for the game, and some of those will vary from version to version. So there are a few that are slightly different based on. But they're all games and they're all acorns, so they're you know.
Makes sense. All right, well, we showed you some attractions. Of course, we have to show you some cards that work with attractions, let you visit attractions. So let's check out Lifetime Pass Holder. It is a single black mana for a creature zombie guest. It is a 2/1. Lifetime Pass Holder enters the battlefield tapped. When Lifetime Pass Holder dies, open an attraction. And whenever you roll to visit your attractions, if you roll a 6, you may return Lifetime Pass Holder from your graveyard to the battlefield. So is this typical of how attractions work with creatures?
Yeah, so basically what will happen is, usually, it's most often creatures, there are a few that aren't creatures, but a card will say open an attraction. So a card will tell you to do that. When it says open attraction, you draw off the top of your attraction deck, and then you put the card onto the battlefield. It's an artifact on the battlefield. When it dies, it goes to what we call the junkyard. So it has the attraction deck has its own sort of graveyard. It doesn't go to the normal graveyard. And this card points out a couple things. One of the things, the set has a theme of die rolling in it, and attractions, whenever you have an attraction out, as long as you have 1 attraction, you get to roll a die once a turn. And so there's a lot of cards that care about die rolling, so they blend really nicely with attraction. So if you're playing a die matters theme, usually you want some attractions in your deck, because attractions guarantee that you roll a die every turn.
All right. The next preview we have that works with attractions is called Goblin Blastronauts. It is 3 and 2 red for a Goblin employee. When Goblin Blastronauts enters the battlefield, open an attraction. Whenever you roll a 6, you may copy the spell, ability, or attraction visit that caused you to roll that die. You may choose new targets for the copy, and it is a 5/4. Tell us about this card, Mark.
Okay, so this card, once again, it's a good example of, it's a creature, it enters the battlefield, it opens an attraction, and then this card sort of cares about the attraction a little bit, because you're going to roll a die each turn. And if you roll a 6, which is very, very good with attractions, because remember, you get to visit all attractions when you roll a 6, it copies anything that, any spell or ability or attraction that you visit gets duplicated. You get to copy it. So if you roll a 6, this card is great, because you're going to visit all your attractions, and you're going to get to do it twice. It's going to duplicate what they're doing. And so this card is pretty cool. The reason, for example, this card is Acorn is that second ability is a little wonky and weird, and it was causing some weird corner case things that the actual rules couldn't handle, but Acorn rules can handle it, and it causes a lot of fun, wacky, and crazy things to happen.
Now, I also, a cool thing that I noticed on this card and the last card are the creature types. So this is a Goblin employee. The last one is a zombie guest. What were you trying to do with the creature types in this set?
Well, one of the things is we were trying to capture the flavor of our world. And so there's a bunch of new creature types introduced in the set. You'll see guest, you'll see performer, you'll see employee, you'll see alien, you'll see robot is being premiered here. So there's a lot of cool things we're doing. A clown shows up. So anyway, we just wanted to capture the world, and that creature types are a way to sort of do that. And so, and a lot of not all of them, but a lot of the creature types we're introducing, their cards that mechanically care about them. There's a card that cares about guests. There's a card that cares about performers. There's a bunch of cards that care about robots. We'll get to that in a second. So yeah, it's just something new to add some flavor, and we mechanically made it relevant.
Okay. Well, let's talk about robots, because that is a sub-theme of the set and our next preview card, as it would so happen. So our next card is called Omni Clown Colossus, and it is terrifying. It is 8 and 2 red mana for an artifact creature clown robot. It's a 7/7. It has an adventure called Pyroclasm, which is great, for 3 and 2 red sorcery adventure. Pyroclasm deals pi damage to each non-clown creature. I like the reminder text there. How to calculate pi isn't important. It's a smidgen more than 3. It has affinity for clowns, and it has trample. All right, clown robot, Mark, what's going on here?
Okay, so as I explained before, we were trying to do a fun take on clowns. We were trying to keep them from being creepy, because that clowns has got a little creepy in pop culture of today. So we decided to make them all robots. They're very fun, they're colorful, they're very bright. And once we had all these robots, we're like, you know what? It'd be very fun to care about robots. So the red-white draft archetype is actually robots matter. And this is the one clown mattering card, but all but 3 robots are clowns. So caring about clowns and caring about robots overlaps mostly. But anyway, you know, there's a robot. If you want to draft red-white, you can draft robot matters. That is the draft theme for red-white. And robots are a lot of fun, and they get to do a lot of cool things. This particular card, we had done a card on Stable called Just Desserts that did pie damage to a creature, and showed a goblin in clown makeup throwing a pie. And we're like, okay, we're doing clowns. We got to revisit pie. So we came up with Pyroclasm. Originally, it was its own spell, and then we realized it worked really well on this card. And you'll note, by the way, this is an adventure. One of the things we can do in supplemental sets is we can do one-ofs. This is the only adventure in the set, but it just made a lot of fun as an adventure. Like we showed sagas earlier, we did a saga. So there's definitely us teasing and doing little things that are really fun. And this is kind of like the king of the clowns. So if you get Omni Clown Colossus in your first pack, go clowns, go robots.
Well, and if you're looking at the red-white clown archetype, I think you can do much worse than this next card as well. Surprise Party, it's an enchantment with a bunch of robot clowns jumping out of a pie. When Surprise Party enters the battlefield, yell, "Surprise!" and put onto the battlefield any number of printed clown robot tokens that aren't touching each other, that you hid on the battlefield before you cast Surprise Party, and that weren't spotted by an opponent before you cast Surprise Party. And then robots you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance. Mark, did you ever get to play this card in playtesting?
I did. So I was playing Donald, and I don't know Donald even know this card existed. So let me preface the story by I don't think Donald knew of the card's existence. I did set the record with 14 clowns. Which is very, very hard to do because they can't touch each other, and they have to be actual clown tokens, like printed clown tokens like we make. There are 2 cool new clown tokens that we've made for the set.
Okay.
Different art, same stats. But anyway, this card, every set we do one kind of, can you sneak a card in? Cheaty Face was the first one. Air last time in Unstable. So this set. It's actually at rare, so it'll show up a lot less. One of the notes we got is people enjoyed it, but they enjoyed it a little bit less, so we put this at rare. And anyway, this shows example that there's just things that are building on your robot. You want to build a fun robot deck. Get your giant clown, get your robot cards, and you can build a really fun robot deck. So I'm very excited that I'm a big fan of robots. So I'm happy that we managed to make an archetype built around something a little new for people.
Very cool. Well, there's another sub theme that. Sure, why not? It's hats matter. So our next preview card is called Hat Trick, which is just the most obvious and yet genius name. So it's 1 and a white, instant. Target blocking or blocked creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains first strike until end of turn. If it has a hat, it gains double strike until end of turn. If you and that creature each have a hat, the creature gains triple strike until end of turn. So, Mark, hat matters. Tell us about that.
Okay, so Hat Matters is our white-black draft archetype. We had made a card in Unstable called Goblin Haberdasher, which was the first Hat Matters card we'd ever made. It was a lot of fun, and that we wanted art to matter in a way. So one of the things we did is, I don't remember exactly, but of the 45, of the 46 sticker sheets, I think 20 of them, I'm estimating here, but about 20 of them have a hat sticker on it. So if your creature doesn't naturally have a hat, you can go give it a hat by stickering it with a hat. And a lot of the cards in the set naturally have hats. And so it's something to care about that's really different. Like one of the things that the unsets pride themselves on is just making you care about things that you're not used to caring about in Magic. And so, okay, if I'm drafting black and white, I actually have to look at the cards and go, oh, does this creature have a hat? And if it doesn't, I can sticker it. So there's ways I can play some non-hat cards in my hat deck. But it just makes you care about a completely different thing. And once again, it's making you care about art. Caring about art is not something you get to do in normal Magic. But in Unmagic, it is something you get to do.
Yeah. All right, next up is a card called Rockstar, which is another sub-theme outside game assistance, which is Mark will talk about in a second. Rockstar is 4 and a red for a creature elemental performer. It is a 4/5 with reach. When Rockstar enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Ask a person outside the game to choose which of them is most like a rock band. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, Mark, we've seen some outside assistance cards in previous unsets before, right?
Yeah. So Unstable introduced the idea of outside assistance. What that means is you involve a person that's not in your game and you make them make a decision. In Unstable, because it was the first time we'd ever done it, we did pretty simple decisions. Most of them were like yes or no questions. This time we decided to sort of expand a little bit. As Rockstar demonstrates, now you're making them make a subjective call about something, like what sounds like a rock band. And there's just a lot of cool moments where you sort of like see how people think about things. It's a lot of fun. And I said earlier how we have a lot of games built into the attractions. A lot of those games will use outside assistance, so you can try to get the outside person to guess something. Since your opponent has an incentive maybe to not guess it correctly, the outside assistant person doesn't. And so there's a lot of fun games you get to play with other people. So we really took what was a very fun theme from Unstable, and we sort of built on it. We got a lot of positive feedback about a lot of how it was fun to involve other people. So there's a lot of ways to involve people in cool and different ways. And we're asking more things now than just like simple yes or no questions. So there's a lot of fun subjective things for people to do.
All right. Our next preview card, so we've actually, looking at the preview cards we've looked at so far, we've spent a lot of time on the Carnival theme and not a ton on the Space theme. The Space theme is here, including in our next preview card called Nearby Planet. So it is a land with Rangeling. This card is every land type, including plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest, desert, gate, lair, locust, and all those Urza's ones. Nearby Planet enters the battlefield tapped. When Nearby Planet enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1. So, Mark, tell us about Rangeling.
Yeah, so we were trying to figure out a way to get common color fixing in the set. And I think Chris Mooney came up with this card. Anyways, somebody in the design team came up with this card. And it was just a lot of fun. Basically, it's Changeling for lands. That's why we called it Rangeling. And there's a lot of neat, weird, quirky things you can do with it. It turned out to be a little too efficient in Legacy. That's why it's got an Acorn on it, in that it caused a little too much chaos. But Acorn sets love chaos, so there's a lot of really neat, cool things you can do with this card. People have had a lot of fun with Changelings, so we said, okay, let's introduce Rangeling. So it's Land Changeling, and like I said, I think people have a lot of fun experimenting with this. There's weird and quirky things you can do with it.
Well, yeah, there have been some more gates released recently. Layers, I forgot those existed, but they do. Locust, you can obviously make a ton of mana. All the Urza's ones, yeah, you can do some wild stuff with this.
Yeah, there's some very quirky things you can do.
Yeah. All right, next up, another theme of the set that we haven't really talked about yet, but we're going to talk more in depth here and a little bit later as well, are the legendary characters. You may have noticed in some of the flavor text, including the flavor text on Nearby Planet, there's some named characters, and a lot of those characters are in this set. One of them Jermaine, Pride of the Circus, is green for a legendary creature cat performer. Has the ability green and tap, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature with 4 or more legs, and then 1 green and a green and tap until end of turn. All creatures able to block target creature with 4 or more legs do so, and it's a 2/3. So here, Mark, it looks like we've got another card that cares about the art, but not hats.
Yeah, so this card, hats, from common and uncommon, hats is the only thing that I think you care about in art. But at rare, we start having some fun, and so there's other art matter stuff at high rarities that's meant more for constructed or goofy limited things you can do. This particular one cares about how many legs you have. So the rule for this one is if the creature in the art has 4 legs, or it's clearly a creature that's, like it's a spider. Well, we know spiders have 8 legs. So if it's a creature, even if you don't see all the legs, but it's the kind of creature that has 4 or more legs, you get to count those as well. And we were also riffing a little bit. We thought it was fun that our lion tamer is a lion, right? He's a leonin. And so he's taming this giant beetle.
Okay, and Mark, as the super official Unrules manager, so the creature with 4 or more legs, it has to be the creature that is the focus of the art. Like, for example, there is an animal in this art with 4 or more legs in the background, but Jermaine does not have 4 legs, so
Correct.
Jermaine can't target itself, correct?
Correct, yes. The character being referenced has to be the thing that has the 4 or more legs. It's not just a matter of, does anything exist with 4 or more legs? It's the card being referenced, and clearly Jermaine is referencing the leonin, not the giant beetle.
Got it. All right, well, we're going to come back to Jermaine, but we have spent quite a bit of time in here. Mark has been referencing when you draft in a draft booster. So we thought we would talk a little bit about what exactly is in a draft booster and how drafting Unfinity works, because it's a little bit different. So Mark, why don't you take us through the contents of an Unfinity draft booster first?
Okay, so in an Unfinity draft booster, here's what you will find. You will get 6 commons, you will get 3 uncommons, you will get 1 rare or mythic rare, you will then get 2 attractions, you will get 1 sticker sheet, and then you will get a full art land. I know we're going to talk about the full art land in a moment, but every pack will get 1 slot for full art land. It is possible, by the way, to get a foil card in your pack, and that if you get a foil card, it's 1 extra. I think it replaces an uncommon. But for example, it is possible to get a rare in your rare mythic slot, to get a foil that's a rare or mythic, to get rares in both of your attraction slots, and in your land slot you could get Shocklands. We'll talk about it in a second. But so like there's a lot of variance of what can happen in any one booster.
Yep. And if you're interested in, Mark talked about the variance that can happen. If you're interested in the specific details and a breakdown on exactly what's in a draft booster, head to dailymtg.com, and the article there will tell you everything you need to know about draft and collector boosters, which we will talk about in a second as well. So there are several unique slots in the draft booster. You talked about you don't draft a sticker sheet, so tell us how you crack open an Unfinity draft booster. How does the draft work?
Okay, well, the Unfinity draft booster, when you crack it open, normally the way it works is you take out your sticker sheet, because you do not draft a sticker sheet, and you take out your full art land. You normally do not draft the full art land. You keep the full art land you open, you keep the sticker sheet you open, and then you draft the rest of the pack. So you do draft attractions, you do draft all the rest of the cards. So if you want to play attractions, you have to... one of the rules, we didn't get into the rules of attractions. So in order to play attractions in limited, you have to have at least 3 cards in your attraction deck. So if you want to play limited attractions, you have to draft at least 3 cards. Note, there are 2 cards per booster, and you get 3 boosters, so there's a lot of opportunity to do that. But you must have at least 3. In constructed, it's 10, and it's singleton in constructed. So you must have at least 10 of different ones. In limited, it doesn't matter. You can have duplicates. Whatever you draft is what you draft. But in constructed, you have to have at least 10. You can have as many as you want at singleton, so you can have up to 45. So your attraction deck could be all the attractions that exist, but you can have as few as 10 in your attraction deck.
Got it. All right. Cool. So let's now talk about collector boosters. So this set has draft boosters, it has collector boosters. Those are the two types of boosters that you can pick up. So the collector booster, we have a fancy little graphic here, has a couple special things about it, several special things. These are collector boosters, these are super cool. So first of all, collector boosters are entirely foil. Every card in a collector booster in Unfinity is foil in some way. There are two types of foils in this set. There's traditional foil and there is galaxy foil. Now, Mark, what's going on with the galaxy foiling?
So basically what happens is we're doing a lot of experimentation with different kind of foiling. So there's one foil that's known as a galaxy foil because it literally looks like stars. That's why it's called the galaxy foil. And we're like, well, we're doing a space set. That seems like an awesome, like a cool opportunity to really take a foil that blends in with the theme of the set. And so we decided that in the collector booster, we're going to offer galaxy foil. And they look like, my favorite thing is some of the basic lands are in space. And they look really, really cool with the galaxy foil. And there's a lot of cards that just blend themselves really well to the galaxy foil. So it's something like, it's just a very different look. And so it's very shiny, it has a lot of colors to it. It just pops a little more than normal foils do, just because there's more, as you can see on the screen, there's just more component pieces there for you to sort of see.
Yep, and on the screen there, you can also see the breakdown of all the different slots in a collector booster. Again, if you want to dive even further into the details, head to dailymtg.com and you can read all about that. Next up, we have the Planetary Lands. So let's look at these basic lands. So these are full art lands. And Mark, why are we calling them Planetary Lands?
Okay, so these are all, they take place on alien planets from the ground on an alien planet. So these are all cool basic lands, but showing alien worlds in a way that normal basic lands wouldn't show. And in fact, because we're in a space set, we've deemed these basic lands Spasic Lands.
Yeah, and I love that Unfinity always really brings the heat, or not Unfinity, Unsets always bring the heat with the full art basic lands. These have gorgeous art by Adam Paquette, but these are not the only full art basic lands in the set. There are also orbital lands. Mark, what's the story here?
So these are set in space. So the planetary are on alien planets from the ground. These are are of planets but from space. So you get sort of Spasic Lands in space. And I want to stress that both the planetary and the orbital, there's no border. They go. The art goes all the way to the edge. Something that we did for the very first time in Unstable, and it's back here in Unfinity.
Yeah, and so these are definitely in collector boosters as we showed before, but they are also in draft boosters. So to give you a sense, the planetary basics, so the ones that are from the ground up, those are in approximately 70% of draft boosters. The orbitals, the ones that are from outer space, those are in about 25% of draft boosters. That delta between those two, occasionally, in about 1 in every 24 draft boosters, it'll be replaced by a non-foil shock land. So the shock lands, we've shown off before, but if you haven't seen them, here they are in all their glory. Mark, you were telling me before the show, you had a favorite out of these.
My favorite's the Hallowed Fountain. I really, really like the Hallowed Fountain.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Godless Shrine. And it sounded like you were about to share something about these.
Oh, so I mean, one of the things that happen is normally in Magic, like when Unglued, the very first unset happened, we introduced full art lands for the first time. And then every unset's always had full art lands. But full art lands started getting into non-unsets. We started doing them in other places. And so when we were doing this set, I went to the powers that be and I said, could we please do cool space dual lands? And we had a lot of discussions. In the end, we decided to do the shock land. So we for the first time ever in an unset, we are doing the untreatment of lands, but on dual lands. We've never done that before.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how you can get those. So I'm going to read this to make sure I don't get it wrong. So first of all, the traditional foil shock lands are box toppers in every display. So both draft booster and collector booster, you will get a box topper that is a traditional foil shock land from among those. In collector boosters, you have a 1 in 20 chance, approximately, again, of a traditional foil Shockland. And again, approximately a 1 in 20 chance of a Galaxy foil Shockland. So that's that new foiling we were talking about. And then, as I said earlier, you can get a non-foil Shockland in about 1 out of every 24 draft boosters. Now, that's a lot of booster fun around the lands, but one of the big pushes on booster fun in this is around the legends. So this is where Jermaine comes back into the picture. So let's show off the booster fun version of Jermaine. So Mark, this is focused on legends in the set, correct?
Yeah, so there are 30 legends in the set, and legends show up in uncommon and rare and mythic rare, in monocolor and in multicolor. And what we did this really cool thing. Dawn, our art director, had a very cool idea. Let's take the art and then have it reinterpreted in kind of this retro style. Mm-hmm. And so what we did is we would do the art on the left. We had normal Magic artists do their normal art, and then we sent it to a different artist that does this sort of more this kind of style, and then they reinterpreted it in their style. So the bonus fun art is always a reinterpretation of the original art that's on the main card in the set.
Very cool. And so there's a bunch of legends in the set, and they all get this treatment, correct?
Correct. There are 30 legends in the set, all of which get this treatment.
All right. Very cool. All right. Well, that is actually all of the details that we have on the set. Now, of course, you can head to dailymtg.com, and there will be more articles that dive deeper into the details if you have any questions remaining. And of course, I'm sure Mark will be scouring social media and answering questions on this. Mark loves unsets. These are his thing. How excited are you for this, Mark?
I'm very, very excited. Like, my normal energy level is like here. Like, most people might be here, and I'm like here. That's my normal energy level. But I'm here for this set, so I'm very excited. Yeah. Like, one of the things about the unsets, real quickly, the reason I'm such a fan of unsets is when you look at Magic, there's a scale of sort of, serious Magic all the way to very casual Magic. Mm-hmm. And that this is a set that says, look, Magic is fun. It's all about playing with your friends and having a good time and enjoying itself. And, it really embraces all the wacky, crazy things we can do with design. That there's a lot of things that are kind of off limits to normal Magic design that we get to tap into. And there's just things you'll get to do in this set you don't normally get to do. You don't normally get to care about names or art or toss cards. There's all sorts of fun things you get to do that's not what normal Magic gets to do, but Unmagic gets to do that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of having fun with your friends, so Unfinity releases October 7th. And they're not pre-release events for this, but there are release events. So check with your local game store on Unfinity release events. But Mark, you're also running something special at Magic 30, correct?
Yeah, we are. So they came to me and they said, we want to do something kind of fun at Magic 30. And we're going to do an Infinity event because Infinity comes out right before the event. Mm-hmm. And so what we're going to do is on Saturday night, we're doing the world's largest booster draft. And we have over 400 people, and we're going to draft in a giant circle, one continuous draft. So if you are there, you could say you participated in the largest booster draft ever. And everybody's allowed to joke once about how their cards didn't take long.
You stole my joke, Mark. Oh, all right. Well, Mark, thank you for joining us. Unfinity releases October 7th. But we do have one little treat for the audience before we go, yes. Because we haven't shown off any Planeswalkers.
Can I set this up?
Please do. Please set this up.
Okay. So one of the fun things about unsets is we get to do things you don't normally get to do. And so we knew we got that. So there's 2 Planeswalkers in the set. Mm-hmm. We're going to preview one right now. And so what happened was I went to the normal Magic team and I said, okay, here's a list of things I want to do that are, and a lot of them, they go, well, that's not that crazy. Maybe we could do that. But one of the things the players have been asking for a long time, it's almost a running thing on my blog, is people have said that, we see humanoid planeswalkers all the time. Could we have a non-humanoid planeswalker, but not something that's kind of like a human, something that's clearly not a human? Mm-hmm. So we're going to deliver we have the very first Planeswalker of its kind coming up right now.
This is Comet Stellar Pup, the bestest boy. For 2, a red and a white, you get a legendary Planeswalker Comet. Comes in with 5 loyalty, and it has exactly 1 ability that does many things. For 0, you roll a 6-sided die. I'm going to read all these because we've got to celebrate the first dog Planeswalker. 1 or 2, you go up to loyalty, or Comet goes up to loyalty, then create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. That's great. They gain haste until end of turn. On a 3, you lose Comet loses loyalty, then return a card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. 4 or 5, Comet Stellar Pup deals damage equal to the number of loyalty counters on him to a creature or player, then -2. And then 6, +1 loyalty on Comet, and you may activate Comet Stellar Pup's loyalty ability 2 more times this turn. All right, Mark, tell us about Comet, the stellarest of pups.
So people have been asking for a dog, and not a dog person, a dog. And the idea is, he could go to Innistrad and dig up bones and then bury them on Zendikar. And so we wanted to capture the feel of a dog. I will stress, by the way, this is an eternal legal card. So what we said is, what would be a lot of fun? What if the dog did cool things, but it's a dog. You don't quite control what Comet wants to do. He'll chase squirrels, he'll dig things up, maybe he'll even attack people, and mostly it's all good for you, but you don't quite know what he's going to do. And so this card has been a lot of fun because you get Comet out and like, come on, Comet, please do what I need you to do. And sometimes he does, and I've had amazing turns with him. I've had things where I think I've activated him like 8 times in one turn because I've rolled a 6 multiple times. So like he can do all sorts of stuff, and there's amazing big turns that can happen. And then there's turns where like, bad Comet, you didn't do what I needed you to do.
And now we have a Booster Fun version of the Planeswalkers as well. Is that correct?
Correct. Both the Planeswalkers have a Booster Fun version that's extended art.
All right, let's take a look at that. There you go. It's got that retro futuristic look. This one is borderless. And I'm guessing...
Yes, the Planeswalkers are borderless into the edge.
Great. And I'm guessing the same art style of taking the original and letting them reimagine it was used for this?
Yeah. For both Planeswalkers and all 30 of the legendary creatures, we did the original art first, and then the artist who did the Booster Fun was given the original to work off of. So in all cases, it's an inspiration based on the original piece.
Fantastic. All right. Well, again, thank you, Mark, for walking us through Unfinity. Previews are kicking off today and are going all week into, I think, next week a little bit.
I just want to stress one thing before we go?
Stress it.
I touched upon this, but I want to remind people, in the set, over half of the set is Eternal Legal. Mm-hmm. Over half of the set are things that you can use in Eternal formats, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. The majority of the stickers and the majority of attractions are Eternal Legal. Almost all the die rolling is Eternally Legal. So there's a lot going on. So if you're one of those people that have never played an unset before, this set actually will give you cards that you can play with in your normal Magic if you play Eternal formats. Mm-hmm. And if you've never played it, if you've never had a limited experience or had fun, one of the great things about unsets is it just lets you experience Magic in a way you've never experienced before. Yeah. It's just very fun, and you can just do all sorts of crazy things. And like, one of the things I'll be sharing on social media is just all the stories of our playtests. All these crazy things, whether you're attacking with hand sanitizer or just, 14 clowns appear out of nowhere. Lots of crazy things happen. It's a lot of fun. So if you've never experienced an unset, please give it a try. And if you have experienced an unset, this is like the unsets you've experienced, just with a slightly different theme, top-down space set. There's a lot of fun going on. There's a whole carnival, and the top-down of this really comes through. Whatever you expect to see at a carnival, a circus, an amusement park, it mostly is here. And we've spent a lot of time really capturing all the top-down flavor. So I hope you guys will give this a chance. It's a really, really fun set.
Yeah, and absolutely. So previews are coming. So if you want to see how to attack with hand sanitizer or all of the other wacky things you can do, stay tuned this week. Next week, we will be back on Thursdays. We're on a different day this week. But we'll be back with a monthly announcement day. There will be a ton of information. But in the meantime, check out Unfinity. Check out dailymtg.com for more information, and I'm sure check out Mark Rosewater's Twitter for all of the behind-the-scenes stories on Unfinity. Thanks, Mark, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.